Start clean with Clorox, because Clorox delivers a powerful clean every time. Because messes happen. Because... I the charcoal mask. Great, because why would I put that on my face when I could drop it in my sink? This is what I get for multitasking. Ugh, why is charcoal so sticky?
Hello?
Hey, Janice. I am so sorry. I thought I was on mute. No, we don't need to reschedule. I'll just stay off camera. Ooh, yeah, that happens. So start clean with Clorox. Use Clorox products as directed.
Oh, yeah.
Syndrome, originally from Canada, but made his way into San Diego, California, is now a London-based MC who has collaborated with some of the biggest names out in the West Coast.
Yeah.
His new album, International Paperchaser, features, one of the singles is "Summertime," which actually is one of my favorite tracks from that album. Syndrome, thanks so much for joining me on The Library with Tim Einenkel.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've always been back and forth worldwide. Almost. I've been around the world, lived in so many countries, but California was the first place I ever got any radio play, and that was the first place I got an actual record deal, which actually meant something to me, So I've always kind of adopted the West Coast as my home,
Cool. And actually, I was going to ask you about that. Because I know you're UK based, but this album definitely has that West Coast feel. How hard is it being away from the UK and still kind of being true to what you see as home?
Well, when I used to live in Canada, early 90s, I had a deal back then, and that was with a kind of like a dance label, early 90s. And I got ripped off so badly at that time. And the West Coast, they showed me so much love out there, and just working around with a lot of artists from Daz, RBX, King T, Dove Shack. I mean, a lot of these artists, they showed me so much love, jumping on my joints, and that's the music which I really love, and I'm really proud of the new album. And I'm out here in England, but I'm always back and forth to Cali, shooting videos. Shout out to Sabotage out there in San Diego. He held me down when I went over to Dago, shoot some videos. So, but yeah, G-Funk music, that's what I grew up listening to, and that's what the sound you hear is in the album.
True. And I want to actually go into the album International Paperchaser. The first track.
Remember back in the day, rocking with Snoop and Dr. Dre, rhyming with Curtis Blow, KRS and Jam Master J, Younger Syndrome will grind. October 23, now that was the day Syndrome and Notorious B.I.G. looking back on the memories when I was overseas, homeless for over 13.
It really, a lot of first tracks of albums are kind of like, it's usually the guy or the girl, whoever.
Yeah.
Or someone just talking about, I don't know, what you're about to hear, or a skit or something like that. But you really, you spit a rhyme.
Yeah.
Which the thing is, like, it reminds me of, like, DMX's first album when he just, gets into, he starts out, that's my dog, and then he goes right into the rhyme. And it really introduces the artist, us to you. So why did you use that first track as this chance to spit this verse?
I had so much to say, I used to work on a radio show in Toronto, Canada with DJ X, and I met a lot of the artists, the U.S. rappers back then, like from Run DMC, Naughty by Nature, Craig Mack, and a lot of these guys, they gave me a lot of knowledge, Even when I went out to Cali, I met dudes from, like, anybody from Daz Dillinger, Snoop Dogg, and E.D.I. from the Outlaws, and Public Enemy also, and DJ Premier. And with so much knowledge which they had given me, I just wanted to put that into a rhyme and to start off my album by letting people know what they told me. So, yeah, that's why I put the first intro into a rap with Daz Dillinger.
Nice. And I don't want to go into the intro track, but also in the track Broke Millionaires with Slip Capone.
Syndrome, not homeless, no more syndrome. Don't sleep in your garage. No more sleep on the concrete floor. Got a 4-bedroom house with 2 cars. Don't gotta rob or take your dollar. Syndrome, now who's come too far? Never go hungry. Got more than 2 pennies in my fucking jar. Syndrome, heard all the rumors. What a fake ass motherfuckers. Better run out, dodge your duckers. Motherfuckers, you still can't touch us. Gotta go war for them all damn motherfucking rappers who don't wanna see me here. If you're around with a coffin, go nobody here. Love with it, about to say no prayers.
Yeah. You talk about being homeless for 13 months and how, and that's obviously a very unfortunate experience. But I'm curious, how have you used that in your life to kind of help power your art?
Well, okay. There was a time in my life I was in Canada. We was basically they had no money at all. We was sleeping in basements, concrete floors, basements. It was real difficult living. And at the same time, I was trying to do the rap thing, going every Saturday to the radio show, working around with a lot of Canadian artists. At that time, I met with a lot of Canadian producers And that's when I did the first album, which was dropped in Canada, which got me the deal up in Cali. It was hard because I had a brain tumor when I was 12 years old, and
wow.
I had a tumor when I was 12 years old, and I totally recovered from that, and just straight went back into rhyming straight after that, and I'm here today. So,
oh wow! You in this album, I think you reference a few times that this is essentially a comeback. You kind of like talk about proving all your doubters wrong. What criticisms have you endured like throughout your career prior to this album?
A lot of people have said to me, where I'm not originally from California, why I'm representing the West Coast so hard. Why am I coming out with a G-Funk album when I'm not originally born in the California West Side? But like I said, man, I mean, I adopted that place as my home because that's where I first got any kind of love in the music industry. People be saying, G-Funk's dead. I'm doing old school music. But I try to put the new twist to the music. I brought out 2 cartoon videos with a summertime video and a City Life G-Funk. And there's people be talking, a lot of the artists I'm working with, like Daz from RBX, King T. I mean, these are some of my heroes I grew up listening to, And it's just I'm trying to let people know these are dudes I grew up listening to. And another criticism I had was every song has a collaboration on it. I don't have like a solo joint on the album. I try to make an album like the ones I grew up listening to. If you listen to The Chronic, Doggy Style, All Eyes on Me, a lot of them albums, they don't have much solo joints, and those were some of my favorite albums. So I went into this album with Daz not really wanting to do a lot of solo joints, but I wanted to make it more like a compilation album with a lot of artists with me on every single joint. So I've had a lot of criticism on the album, but it's received love at the same time,
True. And on this album, International Paperchaser, you work with a lot of people like King T, RBX, CMG, The Conscious Daughters, and many others. Well, a couple of things. How did you select who you wanted to work with, and then also what was kind of the collaboration process like? I mean, I know as we said, you're UK based. I mean, was there a lot of you flying in, trying to write with them, or was it a lot of emailing? What was it like?
Yeah. There was a lot of emailing, a lot of verses being sent over through emails. There was a lot of artists that I wanted on the album that really didn't make the album due to time and the deadlines for the releases. I managed to have everybody on the album who I really love and grew up listening to. And there's about 60 other joints that didn't even make the album. We had like 70 records done.
Wow.
And I had to choose like 17 of the ones I thought would best fit the album. I mean, there was one point I wanted to do a track with Warren G, but there was times where he couldn't make the studio, or there was just what you call times where things didn't come into play for the record to ever happen. I wanted Corrupt on the album.
So would these? I mean, would this kind of, would that list be? Would they be a part of your future collaboration list? These guys?
Of course. I mean, I've always wanted to work with people who I grew up listening to. Like I've mentioned that many, many times, and there's a lot of new artists I want to work with also. But I think I was real happy with this album. A lot of producers I work with from all over Europe. I work with Slap Up Mill, Sin 2, Cabal X, Real Tone, Alexander Hankel, Flowmaster, DJ AK. These guys are from like 7-8 different countries.
Damn,
so,
wow.
It's like people can throw all types of criticism at me or whatever, I think it's a hot album. It's got some hot videos or whatever. It's a West Coast album, I'm just trying to put out good music, and I represent that through my videos. But yeah.
I want to go to the first song that we've talked about, Summertime. When you create a song like that, what goes into that process of like, well, you have an idea what the song wants to be, but do you also like imagine what people should be doing when they're listening to this song? I only ask this because I'm New York, but when I hear a song like that, and I don't own a car, I take a subway everywhere, but I imagine if I owned a car, I would just have the top down and just like riding down the street. And I imagine like that's what I imagine with this song is that you were like, I want people to be doing this.
G-funk music is so alive and kicking in Europe, like countries like France, Spain, Sweden, Germany. And I met a dude, Caval X. He's out of Madrid, Spain. And he's a G-funk genius with production. He produced Summertime and City Life G-funk remix. And when he just emailed me the beat for Summertime and asked me to take a listen to it, what I thought. And then when I listened to that, my jaw dropped, you know. And the first person I thought of was actually CMG of Conscious Daughters, because if you listen to their debut album, Ear to the Street, which dropped in '93, they had some hot summertime joints on that, like Showdown. And, you know, I really wanted the voice of CMG on that, and Special One. And Special One had passed away, which was, I wasn't able to get her on the record. I also did a Rest in Peace record for Special One of Conscious Daughters. But we got CMG on it, and next was my homie Sabotage and myself, and we got Caval. I mean, the process was pretty simple. The Caval X produced the beat, and I just wanted to get, you know, some hot MCs on there, and we did it like that. And it come out a real hot record and a video.
You know, you collaborate and you connect with, as you mentioned, Daz Dillinger on this.
Yeah.
First of all, how did you guys connect? And, you know, has he become almost like a mentor to you?
90s, when I was out in California I was signed to Demo Records, Arthur Mitchell. We used to go to a lot of music conferences. There was No Limit record release party where it was Snoop Dogg was there, EDI from the Outlaws, a lot of former Death Row artists was there. And that's when I made the first connection with a lot of them guys from Daz, Corrupt, Snoop, and there was talks of me. Well, I wanted to do the album with Daz back then. It kind of never happened, but I waited, and eventually, when I was out in the UK, I managed to get a hold of him through the internet, obviously, through the computers and all, and we made the connection and went out there, we did the record, and what you have is what you have. He's always been one of my greatest inspirations in music, the whole Dog Pound, Snoop, and I'm just so, I feel so blessed to be able to have this album with Daz.
This album, International Paperchaser, which record on the album do you think, well, there's two questions to this. Which record on the album best represents you? And then the second question is, which record on the album best represents your mission for International Paperchaser?
I think International Paperchaser, the album VIP, which the song I did with Daz Dillinger, the single VIP, that kind of represents what I want out of life, you know. Just I want to have a good time, and I even say in the record, we ain't looking for trouble. We just want to have a good time, party in the clubs. You know, we had to keep all them nonsense stuff out the club. We just want to have a good time. That's what represents me the most. You know, the feel-good party tunes, feel-good vibes, G-Funk, summertime club joints, house party records. That's what represents me. But the VIP joint I did with Daz, that means a lot to me. That was produced by Slabber Mill. But other records are City Life, G-Funk, Summertime, even House Party. Got EDI of the Outlaws on them. And Daz Dillinger, all them up-tempo type records, they all represent what I like doing with hip-hop.
You talk a lot about in this interview, and I think there's a real appreciation you're showing for the old school. You obviously do that with the album. Like, you want to work with people that you grew up listening to and who had obviously a big effect on your life and your career. So I was curious, who was the first, either the first MC you heard, the first lyric you heard, verse, even the first track you heard that made you say, I want to do this, like, I want to be an MC?
Okay, this is going way back. I think my favorite record growing up used to be Rock Box by Run DMC.
Oh, wow.
In the 80s, and I had a chance to meet both of them twice. Both times I met Run DMC. As soon as I heard Rock Box when that dropped, just that guitar, the bass line. As soon as I heard them spit them rhymes, and I see that video. That's the video that wanted me to do what they did. And I actually met Run DMC at a Toronto radio station, 88.1 CKLN, where I used to work. And the second time I met them was at a BMG conference out in San Diego, and I had an opportunity to tell Jam Master Jay and Run and DMC that was my favorite joint. And we had pictures taken with Arthur Mitchell, who was signed to my label at that time. Yeah, there was Run DMC that really, really got me into wanting to do this whole rhyming thing. But at the same time, in 1985, I was hit by a car, which left me in a coma for 30 days. And a couple years later, led to a brain tumor. And it was after all that, what I went through that. When I recovered from that, I really knew that I this is what I had to get into, because there was so much I just wanted to talk about and get off my chest. I was given a second opportunity. Well, three times I was given the opportunity to go on living. One from the car accident, one from the brain tumor, and a third time was from just dropped down seizures. I was happening from after effects from the tumor. So, but I'm all recovered today, and I feel that really the Lord let me live on for a reason, just to do or accomplish what I wanted to do. Even if I don't sell no million records, or if I don't go platinum or nobody ever heard of me, just finishing up this album with Daz, that's one of my biggest achievements and accomplishments, which nobody can take that away from me, which is, I'm very proud of that.
And so what's next for Syndrome?
Okay, I think we got 3 video releases, which is done from this album. The first being Still Got That Love, Summertime, and City Life. Next, I think what I'm going to do is go on promoting the video for City Life. I'm trying to get it on MTV out in the UK. It's no easy task for an independent artist to get on MTV.
Right.
But that's my next mission, is get these videos on MTV. And it just, for independent, it's just so difficult. But I want to tell every independent artist out there, it's if you believe in what you're trying to do, if you believe in yourself, you can keep this thing going and make something happen. Because I never ever believed that I would be able to have this album with Daz Dillinger and have the artists that I have on them like 10 years ago.
Right.
And I want to thank all them artists, like from Daz, EDI, RBX, King T, Dove Shack, Ron G, Turf Talk, Flowmaster, Sabotage. I mean, they all was a big influence on this album, and they made it happen. Because
these are the people that kind of influenced you, was there at all in the process of making this album any sort of like intimidation factor for you?
You know what? VIP was the first record I did with Daz, and I was like on edge trying to see if he would actually like my verses on it. I did 3 verses on that, and Daz did the hook for VIP. And when I sent him my 3 verses, I was on edge that time. I was a little nervous if he was going to even like my verses or respond back. But then the next thing I did on Dub CNN, I read an interview with Daz thanking me for not thanking me like that, but thanking artists for work, independent artists for working or taking the time, acknowledged Daz Dillinger at that time. That interview was still up online, and he shouted me out on the Dub CNN interview he did, and shouted out producer Slap Up Mill. And from that point on, I knew that I don't got to be worried about nothing. Daz appreciated my 3 verses on that, and I continue to do what I do. And that really meant a lot to me for him to shout me out on the Dub CNN interview.
That's dope.
This is back on the days of MySpace, when MySpace was blowing up. He said
right.
He said that we made because I hit him up on MySpace, and he shouted me out back then for working with him, and shouted out all the independent producers that be hitting him up. And I knew from then that once he appreciated my verses on VIP, I don't got to be afraid of nothing,
Nice.
But that first time I sent them 3 verses, that had me a little, nervous, because this is at the dog pound, you're
Right.
sending your stuff to. So, yeah.
That's real cool. What are your right now? What are your top 3 favorite artists?
The ones I listen to the most and always have is the Notorious B.I.G., Tupac, and I would say Wu-Tang Clan.
Nice.
Though I listen to them albums, like any solo album from Wu-Tang, but Tupac. But then again, I own so many CDs, and I own like 500-600 cassettes. Still cassettes and
wow.
CDs. I've never stopped listening to anything that's from the 90s. I've always listened to old school, but the ones I listen to most is Pac, Biggie, and Wu-Tang. You know, anything Method, even Redman. That's a difficult one. You know, Master Ace, Big L. You know, I listen to a lot of East Coast as well as I listen to everything. But I've never actually had to choose a top three because I just listen to everything.
What's the best way for listeners and fans to kind of keep in touch with what you're doing?
Well, I got a website, you know, at www.deviousrecords.com. Also, I'm on Facebook. You know, you can hit me up, Syndrome, on Facebook, Syndrome. There's Bill Bassie on Facebook. But all my contact info is on the website, www.deviousrecords.com. Just hit me there. Or email is syndawg1@gmail.com. That's SYNDAWG1@gmail.com. I want to give a big shout-out to the producers, because if it wasn't for them, the album wouldn't be sounding like that. Was like Slap Up Mill, Sin 2, Caval X, Real Tone, Alexander Henkel, Flowmaster, and DJ AK. Those guys put hours and hours and hours in the studio to make the beats sound like they were supposed to sound, and I want to thank them for being a huge part of the album.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, na 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 na, na 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 na. City life, city life. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. That's the city life, we can have it every day. Baby girl, if you wanna do, Cali is the place to stay. That's the city life, we can have it every day. Baby girl, if you wanna do, Cali is the place to stay.
I seen the light flashing, hard through her eye. I gotta give it to you, cause baby girl, you fly. Living in the city, baby, looking so pretty. And later on the night, girl, you coming back with me. Ain't nothing but a private affair. Take off your shoes, let down your hair. We in a high ride street, looking at the view. It's me and you, so baby, what we do? She turned on the radio, the lights get low. My body start to shine in the platinum glow. You know the party lasting like all night long. And we ain't stopping until the break of dawn. So just get on the floor, do what you do. The party don't start till after 2. It's me and you, baby girl, it's right. So let's do this in the city live.
Throw it up like bad liquor. Got a bunch of deep pinks trying to ride, and they won't stop till they get enough. I won't stop till I fit all 6 in the truck, and then it's poppin'. Back to the PAD, we with Syndrome, Edie, and the DAZ. Catch chicks and pieces, we all Henny in the purple leaf, and get paid every time we speak. And we some worldwide mafia, cause everybody knows. Old girl got a bad body and she wanna show us. Cool, do what you do. Yeah, lemon on the liquor when you acting a fool. All I wanna do is get it back, get you back. Hey, you been all the way over touching the shoes. Bring it up, spin around, break it back down. City life, I love the way it's going down.
That's the city life, we can have it every day. Baby girl, if you wanna do, Cali is the place to stay. That's the city life, we can have it every day. Baby girl, if you wanna do, Cali is the place to stay.
She got that pretty smile, pretty face, long hair, curvy waist, luscious body, perfect hips, legs so smooth, delicious lips, those sexy eyes, gorgeous breasts, perfect round and zip that dress, take off them clothes, ain't your shoes, remove that ring, please don't refuse, lay down your head, sin don't bite, syndrome go hard, make love all night, lip gloss or smudge, she don't brush, she just wanna get that adrenaline rush, catch that buzz, straight hardcore tomorrow, soon come back for more, sweet perfume, looking so pretty, baby girl, she know how we run this city.
So you, city life to you, Couple X, say my name, OG, oh shit, Madrid, original gangster, oh yeah, España mi amor, Madrid mi corazón, California es mi luz, guía de mi inspiración, quiero soñar, quiero volar, los perros van al cielo pero tú no vendrás, guau guau guau, GPJ, no jodas con el rey, es Ben, real, ciudad sin ley, Westside, vivo mi calle, mi día a día. Cabrones como tú no joden a tu estima. Do you see? Sin un equipo y gangsta, soy un hombre, tengo palabra.
That's the city life, we can have it every day. Baby girl, if you wanted to, Cali is the place to stay. That's the city life, we can have it every day. Baby girl, if you wanted to, Cali is the place to stay. That's the city life, we can have it every day. Baby girl, if you wanted to, Cali is the place to stay. That's the city life, we can have it every day. And let me show you. Baby girl, if you wanted to, Cali is the place to stay.